right, welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Naturally Aspirated. We are back once again with our boy Chili. Chili, say hi.
Sup, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so we're into the new year, 2021. We were supposed to get another podcast in December, but we didn't. Hopefully 2 this month, though, and we'll start getting onto a roll for you guys because, as usual, a lot of support, and we thank you for that because it makes us want to keep doing this and, enjoying our enjoyment of doing this, if that makes sense.
It definitely doesn't, but I get where you're coming from.
All right, let's hop let's hop right into it here. We're going to start off with the Subaru 2022 BRZ, a car that's pretty. I think a lot of people like it. It's cheap, it's affordable, it's got a nice reputation of being a sports car that's cheap, and you get a lot for what you pay for. New design, new looks. I'm just gonna first off, Chili, what do you think of the looks?
I mean, you heard my first reaction when I first looked at it, and it was like, oh, okay. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. Sometimes it takes a lot to impress me. Sometimes it takes a lot to, make me unimpressed. But this just was kind of in the middle. It was like, okay, it is what it is. It's not jumping out at me as bad or good. It's, But for the price range, I think it's pretty good. So, there's no complaints there for how much you're paying. It looks pretty nice, but, if you wanted to look a little bit nicer, you could, I think.
Absolutely. I don't like it at all. And I don't know if I've told you actually even this, but I'm considering looking into buying a last generation BRZ. This one, the new one, has completely lost every single piece of aggressiveness that the car had. The front lights.
Yeah, we know how much you love the aggressiveness of everything.
I'm all about that menacing front end, and and this, it looks like they went into the style of a Miata or something, but almost.
It looks boxier.
It looks boxier. It does. It doesn't look as low and as planted, sleek. As wide and sleek, exactly, as the previous generation. I don't know about the dimensions. I didn't write that down, but it. I don't know.
I'm not really saying much.
It looks short and fat or something. Whereas
it's stubby.
Yeah. Whereas the previous car.
It's very stubby. It's not long at all. You could not fit people in that back seat.
No, which you couldn't really in the last one either. But excuse my phone there. If you guys were able to hear that, I apologize. But just the perception from the side view, it looks short and stubby and not sporty. More coupe than sports car, where previously it looked more like a sports car, I felt.
It looks almost like from the side, when you look at it, it looks like it's just a casual driver, comfort, not like a sports car.
From the side, it could be a Honda Accord for all you know.
Yeah, that's what kind of actually.
Which really disappoints me because I really like the old ones. Speaking of Honda Accord, I don't know if you're aware of modern Acura, or not even modern, a couple of years ago, Honda and Acura rear lights, copy and paste was used by Subaru on these. It's literally identical to Honda and Acura's lights 10 years ago. So
they're just catching up now.
I don't know what they're doing. It looks like they just, and again, they're not as aggressive as the previous ones at all either. They've softened it so much.
It looks like a casual driver. It doesn't look like a sports car, which is why it wasn't jumping out to me at first. I wonder, it says it's supposed to handle nice. It's got a low center of gravity, quick ratio steering, and sport tune suspension. So, I mean, maybe it handles very well, and that's kind of why it looks different.
Well, the last one was known to handle very well as well. Or like I said, it's very sporty feeling and for its price and stuff. But, I don't know. It just looks... I know that there is they have a large group of female drivers that drive this car. But part of me thinks that it's, for lack of a better term, feminized. Is that a real word?
Maybe. But I think what you're looking for is like they probably did like a poll on like who drives more, and then geared towards, you know, that. Like,
yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm trying to word this now.
The styling was engineered
geared towards a certain specific group of people.
Towards, I think, more female, because they can see that they're getting a lot of female drivers who are interested in sports cars bought the previous one. I think they think that they can kind of get a little monopoly sort of thing on that area, right?
Sports car. But I see women driving Porsches all the time. I see them driving Mercedes. Like, I don't see them driving just cars that look like this. Like, you see them driving all kinds of cars. So I don't know what they were going for, because, you know, I guess everyone has a preference, but everyone still loves that sport look.
You're right. It doesn't make sense to me, because it's softened so much from the old one that it doesn't look special or anything anymore. Like,
oh, it looks like a family car almost.
Like, yeah.
Like, the more and more you look at it, the more you're like, this is like a family car.
Yeah. So a little stats here: 228 horsepower and from the 2.4 horizontal engine. 6-speed manual option will still be the standard transmission, which is pretty sweet because that's a limited, rare type of thing. So new limited slip rear differential, 6-speed automatic with wheel-mounted paddles, and auto rev matching is still an available option, which is cool too, because, you know, that's pretty cool too. Sometimes, you know, you want with that rev matching, making sure you're getting some nice noises, like as if you were driving a manual. It gained rigidity through a reinforced chassis mounting system. The subframe architecture and other connecting points are also reinforced to gain that rigidity.
Yeah, I'm looking at an interior view of the car, and it does look really nice on the inside, actually.
Yeah,
like it looks pretty comfy, and it looks like it could be fun to drive. So
yeah, they've kept a very similar interior, same sort of styling. I think they just updated the screen, obviously, but a lot of things are carried over from the last car, which point towards that sportiness and stuff. So that's why I don't like. They kind of went away from on the exterior, but the interior still has that nice what we're used to from the BRZs.
I love the way they did the seat too. Seats look good.
Yeah, they're very
red stitching.
Sporty interior for sure, and the seats are sporty. And you can, just that trim contrast stitching throughout the car looks good. Again, adds to that sportiness.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like, you get what you pay for, I guess, is what you could say. Like, you're paying $30,000 for this car, so
yeah,
that's what it's worth.
I can't remember what it's cost. Is that the right?
$28.85 starting at MSRP is what the Subaru's website says, but I don't know if that's Canadian or American.
Are you on .ca or .com?
I am on .com, so it'd be
American. So it's a little more, but still, it's relatively cheap for for a sports car. But I gotta say, the engine bay looks nice. I'm looking at a picture here, and the engine bay looks very nice. Full.
I like their website though. It's much more manageable than other websites.
Welcome to Naturally Aspirated, presented by Cars Assured Park, where we talk about automotive companies' websites.
Well, I mean, sometimes you can't even, like, when you try and go on a website, I can't remember which website it was. It's like, start the car, and then you try and go through the website, and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh,
it made no sense.
Rimax is so bad.
It was horrible.
It looks really nice, but it's
nice, but
it's like
user friendly, not at all. Like,
it's like start the car, and then it doesn't work.
Yeah, and then you're just like sitting there, like, is the screen frozen? And you're like, oh no, it's just not working at all.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on now. If anyone even cares about this anymore, I'm not sure if people do, but the Nürburgring lap time record was beat on November 4th. As you can see, how up to date my knowledge is of the car world. No, I'm
It's up to date. It's just a little late.
I'm going to defend myself because I wrote down these notes earlier, and then we didn't make it. We took our break in between seasons, so we're catching up from our break still. So it is. It's not that late.
I don't know if they can tell or not, but we kind of just go with the flow as everything just happens. We're like, oh, by the way, this kind of happened.
Yeah, but we're gonna be better starting January.
We're getting better. It is January.
Yeah, well, now we're gonna have 2 episodes a month at some point here. Maybe not this month, but eventually.
But soon.
So back to the Nürburgring lap times. It was beaten by the Mercedes-AMG Black Series, a car that has split a lot of views. I guess I should say the lap time is a 6:43.6 that beat the Lamborghini Aventador SVJ LP770-4's 6:44.97. So a good chunk in front, actually. And I think Lamborghini, Mercedes, and Porsche are kind of the only people who care about this anymore. But it is a good indicator to how good of a car it is. Interesting front end towards that GT3. I believe we did talk about this car already. We did, yeah. But,
yeah, we did a little while ago.
But like we said, I believe we both said last time, interesting looks. Like you could go ahead and comment on the looks once again.
I personally, I don't know what I said last time. Maybe I matured a little bit or whatever. But I like it now. I love, like, they call it a black series, but it's got a lot of silver, and then it's got like those nice hidden black undertones and everything, and it looks really good. The spoiler on the back, I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of how big it is, but that's the only, like, I don't know, negative feedback I've got on this car from what I'm looking at. That's the only thing I don't like. The rest of it looks so nice.
The spoiler is a little over the top. Obviously, that's contributing to its lap time, which is pretty impressive. So
very impressive.
So, like we know, 20 horsepower up on the V8 twin turbo under the engine from the AMG GTR, I believe. And it's nearly as much nearly as much aero as the GT3, mostly from that wing. So
yeah, that wing helps out a lot when you look at the way the aerodynamics work.
And then it does also have a huge front splitter and little vortex generators and stuff around the side, which are definitely contributing to keeping that car planted. Here's an interesting fact for you. The Nürburgring Notchleifer, very tight track, dangerous, lots of crashes there. The beast of the green hell, as it's known. The AMG GT Black Series, reached 299 kilometers an hour on that track.
Couldn't crack 300? I don't like it anymore.
That's a very fast speed for that track, though. There's not a lot of space to make mistakes, not a lot of space to go as fast as you'd like. So that's a pretty...
Who was the driver? Who was driving?
Let me see here. Mauro Engel. He is
good luck trying to pronounce that, right?
Maro. How do you pronounce that? Mauro.
Maro?
Mauro.
I don't know.
Engel. He races in DTM. No, GT Racing.
Cool.
I don't know. He previously raced in DTM and Formula E. So, talented driver, obviously. It's interesting, these lap times, because they all do have different drivers and stuff. Like,
the driver makes a huge difference too on the car, but I mean, when it comes down to seconds, it makes a huge difference who the driver is. Yeah,
obviously the car is the main benchmark, but there is going to be a difference within the driver, which I think it's kind of cool, but how are you going to have one guy drive the same one? I'm not complaining too, like I'm just...
Oh.
You okay over there?
I hit the start button on the car. And luckily, it wasn't like the Rimac where
it didn't work.
The site crashes. It actually started the car for me, and I was like, "Oh, wasn't expecting that."
All right, moving on. Now, this is interesting. You know what, Chili?
What?
I told you about the wrong car. Let's change over to the 992 Turbo S.
Turbo S? Okay. You want
Yes.
to talk about
That is the one that I have the notes on. That's the one we should be talking about. So,
Okay.
Canada, I don't know how or what, but Car and Driver and Driving have Canada, driving.ca, I should mention their full name so you guys know what I'm talking about, have ranked Canada the cheapest country to buy a supercar. Now, this is not British Columbia, I assume. I'm assuming it's Alberta and Ontario or something like that, because I don't know, when I went to British Columbia, when I was in Vancouver, it was really interesting to see that almost half of the supercars there have Alberta license plates because it's like half the price to register your car in Canada.
And insurance here is cheaper too, so
Everything was just, yeah. So, the 640 horsepower Porsche 911 Turbo S is the car that they looked at for the lowest MSRP. Now, my notes are right. In Canada, the coupe is at $231,700. Oh my goodness me.
Do you need me to say the number?
Money.
$231,700.
There we go. In sync. Beautiful. Which 81% cheaper than the global average. What?
Which is nuts.
That's insane. For reference for our American listeners, that's $173,613 American.
Yeah.
In the
and
United
then if you were to buy it in the States, you'd be paying $203,500.
to $266,500. I'm assuming that's California or something. I'm not completely sure, or Oregon or Washington, somewhere with a lot of taxes on stuff like that.
We're also depending on the market, like they can charge more for definitely people in California.
Yeah. And the most expensive country on the list is, it says second most country, but it has to be the most.
It's Singapore. Yeah, Singapore has a higher number.
Yes, obviously. In my notes I have it written incorrectly here, but the most expensive country to buy a Porsche 911 Turbo S is Singapore, which is interesting because it's full of supercars. It's funny how that works sometimes. But
well, if you think about economics, supply and demand.
The car cost
$669,237 US.
My brain is fried today. Wow.
Yeah, and it's only it's not even after supper yet, buddy.
It is 4:39. I just finished class.
Oh yeah, I know.
System overload
your
from
brain's
school.
Toast, right?
System overload from first day back at school. That's the issue. Okay.
Yeah.
Second, the next most pricey. Oh, goodness me.
The next most expensive?
The next most expensive are Vietnam and Thailand, so around generally similar area.
666,000 or 663,000.
Yes,
respectively.
There we go. So very expensive. That is insane compared to, that is 3 times the price of the Canadian car.
Yeah, which is nuts. How much would it cost to buy it here and import it there, do you think?
So I
Still
believe
cheaper, though.
That's generally what they kind of do. If I recall from, I know Seen Through Glass went there. Sorry, I got an interesting text message there. Seen Through Glass went there on his Drive the World trip, and they said a lot of the cars are imported because of that price, which kind of made, but obviously still insurance, and I'm assuming your taxes and stuff are going to be insane through the roof.
Yeah, either way.
Yeah.
Do you think they end up paying more on insurance if it's an import?
I'm not 100% sure how it works. No.
Okay. No?
I wouldn't think so.
Or let's just not say we know, because we don't.
I don't
We're a bunch
believe.
of idiots over here.
Obviously, it depends on the country, but I believe if you import something here, no.
Okay.
But, obviously, you have to import it.
Yeah. Oh, all right. That's interesting. Very interesting.
So, a couple quick fire facts for you guys there over 3 different things that have happened. Now we are going to move on to our interview. So, stick around here for some more insightful than us, information. All right, welcome to our interview for Season 2, Episode 2. We are joined here by Henry from hjlcars. Henry is an awesome automotive photographer and car spotter based in Vancouver. He has seen some amazing cars. And Henry, just tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so thank you for having me on here. It's really awesome to be on a podcast. Never had this experience, but yeah, I'm an 18-year-old photographer who's just gotten into automotive photography for around 3 years. I graduated in 2020 from high school. Now I'm just working at Mercedes-Benz North Vancouver, and yeah.
Nice. All right.
They're more interesting than we are, so that's good.
So first off, just looking at some of these cars you have pictures of on your Instagram here, like I said, at hjlcars on Instagram, like you have seen some exceptional cars. Just scrolling through right now, SVJs, Sennas, McLaren F1s, 6x6, Paganis, Koenigsegg's. That's amazing.
Mostly in California during Car Week.
Yeah. Didn't write this on the questions, but I'm going to ask you this first. What was it like going to Monterey Car Week there?
Honestly, it's like I first went, I think it was in 2017 actually, which is really funny because I didn't have a camera. I used my phone.
Oh, yeah?
And I was like the only one there, like photos of all the cars with my phone. But it's like nothing like the Canadian car scene at all. Like it's a completely unique experience for that. And it was really like a last minute decision. Like within 2 days of the week starting, I was like, hey Dad, we should go. And then we were like, okay. And so we just went for it. And ever since we've gone a year, except for this year, obviously it's not possible and everything was canceled. But it was, yeah, it's probably the best car experiences I've had being there. So, yeah.
That's definitely jealous for sure. Chili?
Yeah, you got
just
down sometime.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just wondering, like, how you got into automotive photography, like, what kick-started the passion?
Yeah, I started in 2017 that's when I started my Instagram, and it was actually just, like, nothing about the photography. I had no interest in that at all. It was all about the cars, and so I just took photos on my phone, but I didn't want to just look at my own photos and just be like, okay, I took photos, what do I do with them? So I just started posting them, and then from there got into the photography aspect of it, and just went from there.
Yeah, like
everyone's got their own path.
Exactly, and you've definitely grown to have some amazing talent. Like, guys listening, I definitely recommend you go check this page out, especially your listeners in Vancouver, because, like, yeah, your photography and editing skills, whatever you're doing to make these pictures look amazing, you're very talented at it, because these are top-notch pictures.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
so,
it's funny because when I started, it's actually the first year in 2017 I got the most likes out of every year that I've done it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I wasn't really posting anything good. I was just posting a lot, but yeah, I mean, my likes per post are better now, but I just don't post as much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, quality over quantity at this point, right?
Yeah, that's one of the main things I've learned. But yeah,
One thing kind of off topic we've had with our Instagram. I feel like whenever I post a really crappy quality picture, it does the best. Like all my top like pictures are my worst pictures I've ever taken.
yeah. Sometimes it just depends on like popular angles, which look sort of
Yeah.
average. Sometimes they do well just because it looks good on the explore page. But
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It's
So
probably just what people are used to too.
obviously, I'm assuming you've had some pretty cool experiences with these amazing cars that you've seen. Could you maybe speak to those experiences, and maybe what was your favorite experience you've been able to go through with automotive photography?
Yeah, it's hard to pick a favorite. I mean, just one of the coolest was I went on a camping trip, just sort of all around. Like we went up to Kelowna and like Nelson and stuff. But on our way back, when we stopped in Kelowna, I set up a photo shoot with RY Phipps on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, he's a guy. He lives down in Kelowna and has a crazy Lamborghini collection. But this was in 2018 or 2019, I don't know, but I shot his Murcielago SV, which is like one of like pretty much my favorite Lamborghini, and like I don't even see them that often, but that was my first ride in a Lamborghini was that, and we shot it in the vineyard off road, and it just seemed so surreal. So that's probably my favorite one. But there's a bunch of other stuff, like I did a photo shoot with a Pagani Huayra and a Senna and an SLR all at once. That was pretty sick.
Jeez.
But yeah.
Does that guy in Kelowna by chance have a sky blue SVJ? Would that be him?
No, he doesn't have an SVJ. He has a SV that's like a turquoisey blue with orange.
Yes, Roadster.
He's on Instagram. Yeah, the Roadster.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking of. I confused it there for a second, but yeah, that's an exceptional car.
Yeah, and I got to see his whole collection in there, so that was pretty cool. But
yeah, definitely very lucky there.
That Murcielago, he has a full IPE exhaust on it, and my ears were just numb, just sitting in the passenger seat.
I believe
it's behind that thing when he's ripping.
Yeah,
it was insane.
Yeah, definitely jealous of that. I believe I've seen it in Kelowna as well. Like, what color is it?
It's white with orange wheels and an orange SV logo.
Okay, yeah, then I've seen it,
Which is
very loud.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Very loud spec, very loud car.
I think he's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which now they took off the orange wheel and the orange SV logo because it's for sale, so probably easier to sell like that.
Yeah, I would assume so. Chili?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, do you have like a favorite car that you've seen, or do you have a favorite car in general? You know.
I guess probably the same thing. Zonda Cinque Pagani is probably my favorite. I've always kind of thought either that or the McLaren P1, but a manual Zonda Cinque just seems like the ultimate end goal.
Where'd you see that one?
So, California.
It
was the red picture that I saw.
That's
Which was it kind of because it was so quick, and it all went so fast, and I barely really got to look at it, but it was nice to see one.
Yeah, looking at the pictures here, that is a beautiful red, and yeah, that's an amazing car. For sure, makes sense to be a favorite.
Yeah, but when that happened, it was like they put that one, they unloaded it from the Quail, and then immediately put it in the truck. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know what was happening with my autofocus, but every single one of my pictures is out of focus except for like one. But
you got one,
whatever.
I've done that before.
I got I think it was just too bright. The sun was like directly on it, and it was focusing on all the cracks in the pavement. It was just a mess.
The really good parts of the shot, right?
Yeah, the important parts for sure.
Yeah, important parts.
So what do you drive yourself?
I only like 2 weeks ago, I just bought my first car. I bought a Nissan 350Z. It's a 35th anniversary edition, so I don't know how many they made worldwide, but I think it's like one of 231 in Canada. So
Nice.
it's a Nissan 350Z, but kind of cool little quirky special edition. Yeah, they had a really good deal on it because it was at Mercedes-Benz North Vancouver, which is where I work. So it only has 28,000 kilometers, and I was able to get a really good price. So
That's awesome.
Yeah. Any plans to do anything to it, or just keeping it how it is? That special edition.
I think I'm just gonna keep it how it is, just because of the low kilometers, and I can probably sell it for a profit. I want to get rid of it, so.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like it's in great shape and has some resale value there for sure.
Awesome.
Chili, go ahead with another question.
Oh, I ran out of all the ones I had written down here.
Okay, I will ask it. Or anything you have off the top of your head, Chili, you want to ask him. That's reasonable.
It's reasonable. That's tricky. Come back to me. I'll be ready in a minute.
All right. So living in Vancouver, I've been there before. I got invited out to the Vancouver Auto Show in 2019 for the media day. The car scene looks unbelievable. Yeah. I stayed downtown. There's supercars everywhere. What type of car events does Vancouver usually have that stand out?
I think there's sort of like three main ones. There's the auto show that you mentioned, which it's a great show, but not much there for car photographers because it's all inside and stuff. But it's just a great show for families to go with their kids or something, or just to see cool cars. And then there's Luxury Supercar Weekend, which is really good. It's kind of a hit or miss each year, but there's usually one or two, sometimes more hypercars. Last year was really good because SR Auto Group, the main hypercar dealer here, was there, celebrating 25 years, I think. And so they lined up like all of their cars, and so they pretty much stole the whole show. But and then the last main one is Diamond Rally, which is always pretty good. They usually have one hypercar a year, so there's a bunch of supercars and then one main hypercar. Those are the main ones. Other than that, there's like lots of coffee, but yeah.
What was the second one you mentioned there? I forget the name.
Luxury Supercar Weekend.
Yeah. I think I was invited to do something for that too, but I didn't end up going.
Yeah?
But I can't...
Oh, that's super...
I can't really remember, which is kind of embarrassing, but I wasn't able to go, but I believe I was invited to that as well. Which is...
Yeah.
It looks like an exceptional one. Yeah. Chili, did you come up with any more questions?
Especially.
Well, I was going to ask him what were the hypercars that were at the show.
At Luxury Supercar Weekend or Diamond Rally?
Yeah,
both.
Luxury car.
Last year there was quite a few. There was the purple Pagani Huayra, the purple carbon one. Then we actually had the Huayra BC Roadster there too. The silver and red one. Wow. That's sort of the debut one. And then I think all the rest were from SR Auto, and they had their 918, their P1, their Veyron, their they had an SLR, if that counts.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They had they had their Huayra as well, their Huayra Roadster, and then they had their Agera RS Koenigsegg, and I think that might be it for hypercars.
I love how you say you think you might be it, like...
Oh, they had...
Go ahead.
Two P1s.
Two P1s, yeah. You said like,
Yeah.
oh, I think that might be it. Like that's not an exceptional lineup of hypercars.
Well, I'm trying to remember because there very well could be like 2 or 3 more, but I don't know.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
the worst memory here too, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I couldn't remember which event I got asked to do media at, so don't worry. I'm gonna ask you another question here that
Yeah.
didn't give you time to think about before, but the
No problem.
Pininfarina Battista, does it look
Oh,
as
yeah.
amazing in person as it does in pictures and stuff? Like just an exceptional looking car in pictures.
Yeah, that's one I didn't mention. That was there too. I somehow forgot about that. And yeah, it looks pretty wicked in person. Like, it's much different than anything else. Just like the body shape and the lines and everything.
Mhm.
I really like the tail light. That was pretty cool. Yeah, I took a bunch of photos, but never really got to editing them. I think I posted only one picture, but yeah, it was pretty cool to see in person because it's one of those cars that's not really real yet, so you're never gonna see it unless you see it at a show. So,
Yes.
which usually Vancouver doesn't have cars like that coming in for shows. It's usually like supercars or something, but that's more of like the car week is kind of for that kind of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
got lucky, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Chili, any last questions or anything?
No, I think that's everything.
Yeah, anything
How
you?
about
No, Henry, anything you want to say?
Any shout outs you want to give?
Say?
Shout out yourself too. Again.
Yeah.
You already showed me. Shout out to you guys for inviting me. That's pretty awesome. It's a cool experience for me. Yeah, like you said, my Instagram's hjlcars, no underscores or anything. I haven't posted in a while, but hopefully I will soon. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
thanks for coming on. You
Yeah,
a great
Yeah,
interview
thank you
and
so much.
yeah. I think our
awesome talking to you and meet.
our fans should enjoy this, and yeah, absolutely, they should all go check out your page because, like I said, you do some amazing work, and it's you put our page to shame for sure.
No way. Your page is good. I like it.
We
And you do
appreciate
a lot of
it.
good. Yeah. I do.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Season 2, Episode 2 of our podcast. Please leave us a rating if you're listening on Apple Music. Subscribe if you're on YouTube. And we will see you next time. Chili, your famous last words?
Just, stay healthy, eat vegetables, guys.
See you next time.